Hi, my name is Hansa Duran, and today I'll be delivering a persuasive speech about the hidden danger behind biometric data. Imagine waking up one day and finding that your face, fingerprints, or voice are sitting in the hands of a foreign hacker. This is not a sci-fi movie. It's happening right now. You may think that biometric data has nothing to do with you, but your phone, your apps, even your government are collecting pieces of your identity. If this falls into the wrong hands, it can be used to track you and target you. After researching government reports, cybersecurity investigations, and human rights cases, I learned that biometric data is being leaked, stolen, and weaponized than most people know. The federal government must ban biometric data collection because it puts citizens in danger, fuels discrimination, and gives corporations too much power for our privacy. First, I'll explain how biometric data puts people at risk, harms marginalized communities, and how corporations use it for profit. After that, I will refute the most common arguments for biometric collection. Finally, I will explain what we can do to protect our privacy. Let's start looking at why biometric data collection is dangerous to the public. Biometric data collection is being leaked at a scale that puts millions in danger, showing that the US cannot safely manage this technology. According to CSO, more than 5.6 million US fingerprints were stolen by a Chinese threat actor, proving that biometric information is, when compromised, it cannot be changed. Another investigation found that the personal data of over 1 million people, including face scans stored on an unsecured database, was accessible to anyone. This demonstrates that continuing the collection of facial scans, fingerprints, and other identifiers is irresponsible because once a leak occurs, the harm lasts forever. Unlike credit cards or login infos, biometric traits are permanent. Biometric collection is especially dangerous when it falls into the hands of extremist groups or hostile governments. When the US withdrew from Afghanistan, the Taliban seized military biometric devices, allowing them to identify Afghans who worked with coalition forces. Reports show that individuals caught through the biometric matches were tortured or executed. This shows the real-world effects of biometric programs. Once collected, data can be weaponized and used against innocent people. This greatly endangers our people as well as others. Marginalized communities are disproportionately harmed by biometric surveillance. Based on the bulletin, in China, biometric tracking is used to monitor and detain over 1 million Uyghur Muslims whose forced labor, torture, and whose face forced labor, torture, and mass imprisonment. In the US, biometric recognition has led to the wrongful arrest of Black men and ICE tracking immigrant families. These examples show how biometric technology amplifies discrimination rather than reducing it. When combined with biased databases and inaccurate facial recognition, biometric collection becomes a direct civil rights threat. Some argue that biometric collection is necessary. Let's look at some of the other sides' claim and why those arguments fall apart. Some argue, supporters argue that biometrics together er, strengthens national security. They claim that these schools are necessary for identifying enemies and controlling military spaces. However, these same devices were captured by the Taliban and used to hunt down U.S. allies. A tool meant to protect also puts civilians at risk. Without guaranteed security, this collecting this data is far more dangerous than not collecting it. Others say that biometric collection helps with law enforcement. Some argue that biometric prevents cyber crimes, identity fraud, terrorism, and makes crime solving faster and more accurate. In reality, biometric policing has caused multiple wrongful arrests due to misidentifications. Systems perform worse on minorities. Instead of improving safety, these systems make innocent people vulnerable to profiling and arrests. Another argument is that biometrics help secure healthcare. They claim that biometric help medical identity theft and catch diseases early. Hospitals already use secure records. Government-run databases are not required for these benefits. They only increase private risks because of how healthcare breaches are common. Once a patient's data is stolen, it can be exploited forever. Instead of allowing these dangerous systems to grow, we need solutions that actually protect people. So what should we do? A federal ban would stop companies and governments from agencies from collecting biometric data like fingerprints, facial scans, and DNA, except for limited court-approved situations. Technologies would have to switch to safer authentication methods, and law enforcement would need warrants. We can push for legislation like the Biometric Information Privacy Act, which restricts state and federal biometric collection. The contacting local representatives, supporting digital privacy groups, and refusing services that require biometric scanning are all steps that we can take. Now let's pull everything together. Today we learned that biometric data collection is dangerous because it leaks constantly, puts vulnerable people at risk, and fuels discrimination. Attempts to justify it with national security and healthcare do not hold up to the evidence. A federal ban to protect a federal ban protects our rights, security, safety, and privacy. If we must demand legislation and that limits biometric collection before the damage becomes irreversible. If we do nothing, the stranger who wakes up with your identity might not be across the road. It might be someone standing right next to you. Thank you.